Hey guys, welcome to an interesting video on Wild Rift. So we're back today with a Corki supplementary guide, and we're here with today sort of like a on-hit attack version, auto attack version of Corki. And personally for me, this is now my main Corki build, and I built this all the time on Corki. I don't really go for the crit build anymore. I think this build is way better, and I think that the main reason that I think this build is better than the crit build is because with the crit build, you have to either, number one, sacrifice your sacrifice your mana mune, and go for 4 crit items at the start to get 100% crit, which basically means you're running out of mana all the time. Or number two, you do get the mana mune, but you're gonna hit 4 crit items a lot later in the game, only when you reach your full item build. Both of these scenarios are not very good, and also you cannot build any kind of like penetration or whatnot. So I really don't think the crit build is better than this one. I think that the crit build is still alright, it's still good, still has its merits, but I think this build is just way better. Alright, so what exactly is this build? First off, as you guys can see, we're starting off with the mana mune. So mana mune, of course, gives you that extra mana, and when you evolve it to the mirror mana, you get the on-hit damage. You also get, of course, the AD and the ability haste. You will see that generally the stats we want throughout this build is going to be stats like attack speed, on hit, and ability haste, because basically the main way this build works is you get more ability haste so you can spam your rockets and your Qs more quickly, which of course with the sheen on the Triforce, you want to auto attack in between, which is where the attack speed comes in. And of course when you're attacking with the attack speed, on hit becomes very good from sources like the sheen and the slow recharge blade, etc. So that's the whole premise of this build. So after you get the mana mune, you go onto the Triforce. Triforce of course gives you AD, gives you another whopping 25 ability haste, gives you 30% attack speed and 250 health. So of course health gonna help you with your survivability, which the crit build does not have, and even more so on the Riftmaker, that's another 150 health. So your total getting like 400 extra health, which of course again the crit build does not have. So this is really useful. And of course the main reason we're getting the Triforce is of course the Spellblade, which after you use an ability, your next auto attack will deal 200% base AD plus bonus damage on hit. So that's why you auto attack in between casting your rockets. And of course with Corki, with his 6 rockets and his 3 spells, you can get 9 procs of Triforce, and by then, your Q and your ult probably would have come up yet again. So you basically can get unlimited like procs of the Sheen passive in between, or the Spellblade passive in between. Of course, aside from that, you also get the 5% extra movement speed, and of course the Rage passive, where on hit, you get extra movement speed, which again is of course going to be very useful for Corki because he attacks a lot in between. So after that, we of course get our boots and our enchant. Generally, you go for stasis all the time because you're going to be using your packet straight into the enemy team, so that stasis can help you buy time for your team to back you up. And of course with the boots, we generally go for defensive options, or you can even go for the Ionian boots of Lucidity if you so choose. Then after that, we go for the Riftmaker. Now Riftmaker of course gives you a little bit of AP, which Corki does scale with, although not as well as AD. Gives you health, and gives you again ability haste. So every single one of our items gives ability haste except for our GA, which is kind of the whole point of this build. Aside from that, you get 12% Omnivam, which of course works on the true damage of the Riftmaker itself. Corki of course does 80% AP and 20% AD, so works on all damage sources of Corki. And of course you get the Void Corruption passive, where you do deal true damage after like 3 seconds in combat, which is basically, this is basically your replacement for your penetration item. So you don't really go for Void Staff, you go for the Riftmaker instead, which gives you, instead of giving you penetration, it gives you true damage instead, and also of course gives you the Omnivam and a lot of better stats compared to Void Staff. Then we go for Slurry Charge Blade. So now the question here is, why are we going for a single crit item? Well, the answer is we're not really so much going for the crit aspect of the item, we're going for everything else. So it gives you 15 ability haste, which again, ability haste, 30% attack speed, again, more attack speed, combined with the Triforce gives you even more attack speed to auto attack faster in between spell casts. And then you go have the Sunburst passive, where of course whenever you use up an ability, you will gain stacks of radiance, and whenever you auto attack, you will consume a stack to deal bonus magic damage on hit. So again, on hit for his auto attack, so on your auto attack, you'll deal extra damage from the Spellblade of Triforce and extra damage from the Sunburst of Slurry Charge Blade, and of course, again, when you spam your spells, your ulti especially, you pretty much have unlimited charges of Slurry Charge Blade anyway, so you pretty much will always be able to have the on-hit from Slurry Charge Blade. Now, of course, you do get a 25% crit chance, which in this build is not very useful, but sometimes you never know. Out of nowhere, that 25% crit comes in and helps you secure a kill, or helps you deal just enough damage for your team to secure a kill or something like that, so you can't say the crit is useless either. Personally, I like to top it off with a Guardian Angel just for that extra layer of safety and security for the revive, but if you don't want the Guardian Angel, you could go for a lot of other items as well. You could even, you could go for, of course, penetration with your Void Staff. You could go for defensive items like Maw of Malmortius. You could even go for, you know, some extra utility items. Like, for example, maybe even a Rapid Fire Cannon to get an extra long-range auto attack. The last item is really, really flexible and kind of dependent on what you yourself really likes. Pretty much anything can fit into the last item slot because only the first 4 items are really the core items. Now, talking about the runes and the spells, of course, we're going for Conqueror. This is a auto attack heavy ADC focused build. No other rune really makes sense. And seeing as we auto attack so much, I actually decided that Brutal is really our best option. Now, we all know Hunter Vampirism doesn't work on Corki because it gives him Magic Vamp instead of Physical Vamp. It gives him Physical Vamp instead of Magic Vamp, which is what you need. You need the Magic Vamp. So, we get our lifesteal mostly from the Riftmaker anyway, so Hunter Vampirism makes no sense at all. Your only other options is Triumph and Giant Slayer. Giant Slayer I do take if I'm into a very tanky team, but generally your best go-to option is Brutal. Which is kind of a rare instance of Brutal actually being useful. Then, of course, we have the Bone Plating. This, of course, can be swapped out with Nullifying Orb or Hunter Titan if you so choose, if you prefer. And lastly, I like to go for Hunter Genius for even more ability haste. Although, of course, in this build, every item gives you ability haste, so if you don't really want to take Hunter Genius, you can go for something else like Nimbus Cloak. And for the spells, of course, we go for the Exhaust and the Flash standard ADC loadout. So now with all that out the way, let's jump straight into the gameplay. Alright, so here we have the Corki gameplay. Now, I don't really think I got to really explain how, when to pick Corki anymore. I pretty much say this every video, but basically, you want to pick Corki when your team is lacking in magic damage. Now here, I have an Aatrox top and a Yasuo mid, more than enough AD. Now I have an Evelynn jungle who is an AP source, but you know, sometimes assassins don't really work out. But anyways, before we talk about that, let's jump straight into the gameplay where we basically managed to catch out a rogue Yuumi. Unfortunately for us, she manages to reattach onto Kai'Sa. Kai'Sa blows Flash and I accidentally tank a tower shot, so good start to the game. Could have been a little bit better if I didn't take that tower shot, but hey, you know, we'll take it. A lot of good damage. Now here Yuumi suddenly goes AFK and I pick up a free kill here. Kai'Sa goes low and Leona goes in. I managed to finish her off with the Gatling gun, but unfortunately Leona dies to the tower. So 2 kills right at the beginning. Really great start for me. I'm not complaining at all. So I'm going to back and pick up my tier and I can begin stacking that. So back to what I was saying about the team comp, our only AP source is Evelynn, and sometimes, you know, with magic damage assassins, sometimes you do have those scenarios where they fall far behind and they basically end up doing no damage because an assassin behind does no damage at all. So I decided to go for the Corki anyways, and here you guys can see again, Leona gets a really good engage onto the Kai'Sa and we managed to chunk out the Kai'Sa. This time I don't take the tower shot and instead chuck a Phosphorus Bomb onto the 2 of them. Now fortunately for them, they do have a Yuumi, and Yuumi's healing is still pretty obnoxious when you can get off those auto attacks onto the minions, which Kai'Sa did manage to do a couple. So she does heal up quite a significant amount. Now don't forget guys that they didn't actually nerf Yuumi's healing, they only nerfed how her healing is applied. So her healing is still the same, but you just need to attack the minions to heal back up. So Yuumi's healing is still, you know, pretty insane. Same as before, it's just that now it's harder to proc, which is really where the weakness comes in. So here again, we're trying our best to put pressure onto them and we're shoving in really deep. The main thing we got to be aware of is their jungler, and of course this is a Lilia. So here we're gonna catch up the Yuumi again and get the kill onto Yuumi. I even exhaust the Kai'Sa and try to pick up the kill. Now here honestly I believe I could have tried to go for the kill if I flash forward to use my Q onto the Kai'Sa, but really that's a play that could work, but I might die to the tower, I might not kill her at all, so I decide it's not really worth the risk of losing my flash and possibly losing my life. So instead I'm going to take the safer play of clearing the wave and recalling. Wave state is beautiful. where it's reset to the center, so it gives us time to go back by and complete our mana mune. And of course, when the mana mune is completed, we do want to use our spells in base to try to charge up the mana mune more quickly. And then we're going to hit back into the lane. So the reason why we're pushed so far up and we're not scared at all is if you guys can look at the river, we have a ward in the mid lane bush, the entrance near the mid lane, the jungle entrance in the mid lane. We have the Scuttle Vision and we have a ward in the river. There is literally no way Lilia can get in and gank us without us actually noticing. So basically we're not really too scared. She doesn't have any kind of dash to get over that wall, that small thin wall over here at this bush either. And of course we're rewarding it to make sure we don't get ganked without knowing. And really, we can't afford to play aggressive because we will always know where if Lilia is coming. Here, again, another engaged by Leona. And here we nearly managed to get them, but the combo of Kai'Sa's shield from her ulti and Yumi's healing does manage to allow them to survive. So unfortunately, we don't quite get the kill onto them. And we, of course, can see that Lilia is, of course, on the top side. So we are completely safe here to, of course, have our way with them, although I'm not really that high of health. Here Yumi tries to proc her passive, Kai'Sa gets stunned, I exhaust the Kai'Sa, and I accidentally fat finger and use my W instead of using my E. So unfortunately, because of that, I end up putting myself in a bad position and I do end up dying, trading 1-for-1 with the Kai'Sa. Honestly, in my opinion, it's not the worst in the world. I gave the shutdown to Yumi, so Kai'Sa does not get that shutdown goal, which is not the worst situation at all, in my opinion. I think it's not too bad. Of course, ideally we wouldn't die, but at least having died there, the goal went to the wrong person. So here, we are 30 seconds out from the objectives spawning, and we do have the package available, of course. So now what we want to do here is we want to quickly shove out this wave, recall, and get ourselves the package. So here you guys can see I'm using all my spells on the minion wave and trying to clear out. So here, what I want to do is I want to recall. And pick up the package. However, as you can see, Kai'Sa is having none of it. Kai'Sa knows that too. So here, she first interrupts me with W, then she comes up and tries to stop me manually. And Yumi even commits an ult. Leona goes in with the ult and with the rest of it, and basically ends up trading support out for ult. And Kai'Sa is left worse for wear. Now, unfortunately, with Yumi, it's really hard to finish off the kill onto the Kai'Sa. So unfortunately, we can't really do very much. And here you can see the objective have both already spawned, but thankfully, Lilia is in the mid lane attacking Yasuo, and Evelyn is not on any objective either. So this actually gives us the time to recall, pick up the package, and Lilia even dies. So this should be a free dragon, and we don't really even need the package to secure the dragon anymore. So kind of a waste of a package, but what can you really do about it? So here we're gonna secure the dragon. Here I spot out a lone Yumi, and here I use the package to knock her airborne. So she cannot actually attach to Kai'Sa, and here I'm trying to look to get the kill onto Yumi. I do end up getting the kill onto Yumi, but because of Kai'Sa's exhaust, I don't actually end up making it out alive afterwards. Now Kai'Sa is going on to Leona now, and Kai'Sa does get the kill on Leona. However, Evelyn is there, flashes the wall, and finishes off the Kai'Sa. So ends up overall being a 2-for-2 trade, although Kai'Sa did get both of those kills, whereas our kills went one to me and one to Evelyn, which is still alright because Leona didn't actually get any of the kills. So overall, it's still alright, but Kai'Sa, 2 kills puts her back into the game. So probably not the best decision there, overcommitting with the package onto the Yumi. Now that's something I kind of struggle with quite a bit, which is if I see my package running out, I'm going to try my best to use it, whether it be to clear a minion wave, reposition myself, or to try to catch someone out. But sometimes you just gotta let the package expire instead of forcing yourself to use it, which is something I'm really not very good at. And of course, I'm going to advise you guys to not do that if you can help it. But yeah, so here I'm just dodging the Kai'Sa's Void Seeker. And here, of course, the teams are contesting over the Herald. Just me and Kai'Sa by ourselves in the bottom lane. I don't really want to 1v1 the Kai'Sa, even though I'm 4-2-1. I don't have my Mirror Mana evolved yet, and I don't have my Triforce, I only have my Sheen. Whereas Kai'Sa is a really strong 1v1 ADC. She has her Q evolved because she has double BF sword already, so she has enough AD for the Q evolve. Doesn't have any completed items, but in my opinion, I think Kai'Sa is still superior to Corki in a 1v1. So here I do believe I have Triforce, so I'm recalling to get Triforce, 2-item Power Spike. Again, I'm trying to charge up my my Mana Mune as fast as possible using the rockets and the Phosphorus Bomb on the way to the lane just to charge up the stacks onto the Mana Mune. So here I spot the wave. I'm gonna try to quickly get this wave before the tower gets it. I managed to get 2 of the minions. Alright, not the worst. And meanwhile, my team does secure the Herald. So both objectives in the bag. We're off to a really good start in terms of the objective game. We spot Yuumi and Lilia in the mid lane, so we know that Kai'Sa is probably alone. Now Leona is making her way to mid lane as well, because obviously the fight is happening there. Now here I actually end up in a 1v1 versus Kai'Sa and exhaust her early. She tries to ult behind, and I basically use my Valkyrie there to number one reposition into the enemy bush where she cannot actually have vision of me, so she can't auto tank me. And number 2, to proc the Sheen on my Triforce just for the extra damage, and we do actually manage to kill Kai'Sa 1v1. Probably only because we are that far ahead. Honestly, if we are even, Kai'Sa always wins Corki in a 1v1. But thankfully we do get the job done, and we're of course going to get the tower afterwards. Using spells in between to proc the Sheen component of the Triforce, or rather I should say the Spellblade passive. And also we're gonna head over on into the jungle and pick up this Gromp. Now I'm seeing if I can get anything else, but I spot out the Yone and the Lilia, so I'm gonna have to quickly Valkyrie myself out of the way, warding to make sure that they're not chasing, and then we're gonna try to pick up. We were trying to pick up the Skull Crab, but we spot Yasuo going in on the engage, and here we're gonna snipe out the Yuumi to get the kill. So now 6-2-1, we have the Mana Mune evolved to the Mirror Mana already, and we have the Triforce. So this gives us a pretty strong power spike, where we're now incredibly strong. I mean, just by KDA alone we're pretty strong, but now in terms of items, we're at the item breakpoint where it gives us a huge power spike. Lilia throws her E down, so I got to cancel the recall and sidestep that, lest she hits a 2-man E and decides to sleep us both. I think that's pretty unlikely, but you know, you can never be too safe as a squishy ADC. So speaking of squishy ADC, we're gonna pick up our stasis together with the Merc Treads, because in this particular game there is not only a lot of CC, but there is also 2 big AP damage threats, being Lilia and Kennen. So a lot of CC from Lilia, Yone, Kennen, Yuumi, etc. So I think the Merc Treads work really well in this particular matchup, which is why we're opting in for those. Heading back over to the bot lane to just clear out the minions in the bot lane like so, and then we're gonna recall. I'm not too sure why. Maybe we have some items to buy, or maybe we're gonna pick up the package right before the dragon. So here, as I mentioned, for some reason I couldn't see the dragon spawn timer. Someone was standing over it, but here we can see dragon spawning, so we're gonna quickly recall, pick up the package in time for the dragon. Fight has already started without me, and I'm gonna be coming in with the package, hopefully change things. So here you can see we use the package, and we're gonna get 2 kills, 1 on Yone and 1 on, I think that was, not too sure who that was honestly, but we get 2 of them, and we even use the package to become unstoppable, so we don't actually get knocked out by Yone's ultimate. So it's a very rare use case of the package, because normally you're using it quite offensively. In this case, I managed to use it offensively and defensively at the same time, because I used it to make myself unstoppable and immune Yone's knockup from the ulti, and I also managed to use it in a very good position to get myself in a range to kill enemies. And yeah, so that was a pretty good package. But some rare instances where you have the package and you're gonna get CC'd, let's say by a Malphite, one of the use cases of the package is indeed to make yourself unstoppable and make sure you cannot get knocked up or CC'd in any other way. Sometimes the survivability is a pretty important aspect as well, and it's sometimes more important than straight up just doing the damage. So here we have picked up both components of the Riftmaker already, and here we're just going to hit over, I guess, to the bot lane to defend Kai'Sa's push. We don't want to give away any free towers or anything like that. She probably thought we all went to the Herald and was trying to pick up that, trade that for the bot lane tower, but my team is on the Herald and they don't really need me to pick it up, especially because it's not actually contested. So instead what I'm going to do is I'm going to clear the wave in the bot lane, and I'm also going to pick up the scuttle for the vision and the gold, and then we're going to come over and clear the next wave. Ignore that rocket that randomly went in between. We don't talk about that. And now we're gonna just recall And probably we have enough gold to pick up the Riftmaker. There we go, Riftmaker completed. So again, Corki of course even stronger with the true damage with the Omni Vamp, and of course we're just doing really well. 8-2-2. Our team is doing really well as well, especially the Yasuo. Yasuo is 9-5-11, and he is just cleaning house. He's at 12k gold, and you're trying to get in range for the tower kill, but we do get the local goal, I believe, from the tower. Here, Evelyn pops the Herald for the inhibitor, and with the enemy team ace, this is a free inhibitor tower pickup. As you guys can see here, I'm even rotating over to the Yasuo to help him to take down this tier 2 bot tower. Another tower for us. Huge injections of gold to our team. Of course, the entire enemy team is respawned. Herald did actually manage to get a charge onto the enemy base of all things. And for some reason, this cannon is going for like an AD build. So he has like, you know, Hullbreaker and Bork. So it's a kind of a strange cannon build. But yeah, so here we're just gonna go back to our own jungle and gonna farm up the jungle. Trying to keep our farm up and whenever we can. In the downtime, of course, gonna farm the jungle. Now here I don't take the red buff because I thought Evelyn on when she recalled, she was gonna head over to the red buff to come and clear it. But she heads over to blue side, so I guess I'm just gonna take the red buff for myself, since Evelyn doesn't seem interested in the buff sharing of the red buff. So here I'm just going to pick up the red buff, as you guys can see, and we pretty much cleared the whole red side jungle. Now, we do have enough gold to probably pick up some components of the Slow Recharge Blade, so that's exactly what we're going to do. I'm going to pick up both components of the Slow Recharge Blade itself. So here I pick up the package because I'm actually pinging for Baron, because now our team is like 10k gold up on the enemy team. Double Dragon, and me and Yasuo are incredibly fed. Evelyn is incredibly fed as well. Aatrox 4 and 0 also. And pretty much Leona is the only one who isn't fed, but that's because she has to engage for us. And here we actually spot out the enemy. So here, I'm going to package in between the entire enemy team to cut off their escape. And at the same time, blast them with the Gatling gun. And we basically get all of them. Mistime ulti from the Evelyn there. We basically get all of them, and here we're going to pick up a free Baron. Now, I was originally planning to straight up do the Baron without actually getting any picks first, but since we had the opportunity, of course we go for picks first. Now, while me, Evelyn, and Leona are on the Baron, we're going to take a look over at what Yasuo and Aatrox are doing. They're going to tower dive these two blokes over there, and they do actually manage to pick up the kill. Only a lone Yuumi is left. In my opinion, these two are really greedy. I don't know why they're chasing Yuumi when they have the Baron buff. And here you guys can see that they do pick up the kill on Yuumi. What happens? Yasuo gets executed, and Aatrox dies to Yuumi. So there goes two Baron buffs. In the meanwhile, the enemy team are all respawning, and Evelyn is still pushing in top. So two Baron buffs gone. Me and Leona have backed off. Evelyn pretty much gets caught. I'm not sure if she dies, but it looks like she is gonna die. She dies. Another Baron buff is gone. Now, if you guys have Baron, don't troll the game. Don't go in and dive a Yuumi inside her base. Don't do anything, you know, dumb like that. You want to preserve your Baron buffs and use it. So now, here Leona is getting chased by Yone. I'm kind of just hovering around. I do get hit by Lilia's sleep. I stasis to make sure she doesn't kill me when that happens. And really nice Leona ultimate allows us to kill both of them. So really well played by me and Leona there. And here I was planning to go for Mountain Dragon. I see Leona actually engaging in, so I'm going to hop the wall and just pick up the quick kill onto Kaisa. Of course, even when you're trying to go for the dragon, you do want to pay attention to what exactly is happening. You don't just tunnel vision on that dragon. If that happened, Leona would have gone in on Kaisa and just died for no reason, and I could have easily followed up for the kill. So here what I really want is the blue buff. You guys can see my mana. Despite having the mirror mana, my mana is still running out pretty quickly. Now here I'm getting Leona to just bait them in. Leona goes in with the ulti and with the CC, allowing me to get the kill onto Cannon and Yuumi. Simple as that. And now with the Baron Empowered minions, we can pick up another free inhibitor, and this pretty much should be the game. Of course, some enemies are indeed respawning, but pretty much should be it. They can't really do very much to us. There, as I say, there goes the Lilia, and Leone tries to go into no avail. Now here I decide to try to have some fun. Valkyrie in to try to get the kill on Kaisa. End up inting my life away, but doesn't really matter because the game is won anyways. There we go. Minions finish off the game. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video and learned from this new build of Corki. Thank you guys so much for watching the video, and goodbye.